Arvid Soderblom's in goal. Pat Maroon is back in, and the Blackhawks face the Blues at 2 o'clock. We've got your pregame show coming up next on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks pregame show presented by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Bet. That's what the kids say. Bet.
Bet. Or bet.
That's Mario. I'm Jay.
Hello.
Sarah's over there, still sick because you have not hit the like button often enough.
Shame.
So hit the like button. Every time you hit the like button, her fever goes down 0.1 degree.
Do we need to ASPCA this one?
Yeah, I think so.
Just have
Sarah McLachlan singing.
Sad pictures of Sarah cuddled up in her blanket with like tissues and stuff. It's like for one like a day.
They finally upped my meds though. I'm on 2 different antibiotics now.
Nice.
So we're improving.
And not the ones that you're gonna have a reaction to.
Yesterday was the weirdest day of my life.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Well, so we saw you last Thursday was our last show?
Yeah.
You look better today than then.
That's good.
Like your coloring is better. You're coughing less.
I am coughing.
So we're getting there.
Yeah. That is one thing.
All right. Well, we're glad you're here, Sarah. We're also glad you're here watching on YouTube on a Saturday afternoon at 1:30 on the second day of spring in Chicago. We really appreciate that commitment. But yeah, do us a favor and hit that like button and make sure you are subscribed to our YouTube page as well as we get ready for the Blackhawks and Blues in St. Louis. They dropped the puck at 2. So why don't we hear the fastest Anders Sorensen in the history of Anders Sorensens?
This might be the shortest.
I think it is. And then we'll share the lineup in a few moments. Literally.
Patty Maroon draws back in for Doc, and then Sodi's in net.
The Blues have been on a good run recently. Now they're in a playoff spot. They're going to play with a lot of desperation. How can we match that?
Yeah, we have to have urgency, right? We know they're going to come hard early here. They've been on a roll offensively, and they're shutting it down defensively. So we got to be real diligent in our returns home and just our puck management overall.
The last game here was a bit of a track meet, a run-and-gun game. How can you slow down their speed of guys like Kyrou and guys like that?
Staying above him is the biggest thing, right? It's a cliche, but it's going to be really important here tonight, and suffocate their time and space.
Sowage draws back in. He made 8 or 9 shootout saves here last time he was here. What are you looking forward to from him tonight?
Just a solid performance. I think it's more about us in front of him, making sure that he sees pucks and he doesn't have to move too much in his net there.
All right.
There you go.
Let's recap that word by word. There he is, Anders Sorensen, courtesy of the Chicago Blackhawks. Thanks for use of that video. So Maroon back in with Colton Dock day-to-day with the wrist injury.
Hyperextended elbow.
Yes.
Which
elbow,
is, I mean,
I was thinking elbow instead of wrist.
Yeah. But I think considering what it could have been, or what it kind of looked like it could have been, a day-to-day hyperextended elbow is much better than separated shoulder or anything like that. So that's probably best case scenario for them there. He's, again, like I said the other night, he's a guy that was put on waivers to be eligible to play for the Ice Hogs at the end of the season too. So not only for him to play out the rest of the NHL season here, but also that he'd be available for Rockford. Like, hopefully that's still going to be the case there for him.
I had a hyperextended knee in high school, so it's not really the same. Someone rolled on rolled on this front part of my leg, and my knee went the wrong way. And that was like a week or two.
Yeah, those injuries where, your elbows or knees and stuff just bend the way that they're not supposed to. Ugh, those give me a shiver.
I will say it didn't hurt, but it was one of those something is wrong feelings.
Right.
Like it should not feel like this, and it should not have gone that way. So hopefully it's just a couple week thing for Colton. He can get back in either Chicago or Rockford with now 13 games to go.
Mm-hmm. Well, Maroon gets back in, and yeah, that's back in. That's a guy that can play heavy game. Blues play that style, so maybe it works out and matches up well. I know Doc also hits everybody.
Yeah,
but it's just an aspect of that fourth line.
And I think Maroon appreciates getting it against the Blues too.
Yeah, for sure.
A place where he calls home in the offseason, right?
He's from St. Louis, and won a cup there, so good for him.
Yeah, we'll see if he fights right off the hop again.
He'll fight somebody.
Find somebody to fight.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you've got Nazar centering Mikheyev and Bedard. We'll get to that next. Dickinson with Teravainen and Foligno, Donato, Veleno, and Bertuzzi, and then Reichel, Slaggert, and Maroon. D pairs are Vlasic, Kaiser, Del Mastro, Murphy, Martinez, Levshinov, and Arvid Soderblom in goal. So Mikheyev is the latest to get a look with Nazar and Bedard, and I think you could probably say he's earned it. He's been one of the most consistent Hawks over the last 5 to 10 games.
Yeah.
Putting some points up, but still just being a factor on the ice. And curious to see how he will gel with those two. He's a guy who is willing to go into corners. He's got some speed, so he'll be able to keep up with both of them. Actually, he's probably faster than both of them, so they'll have to keep up with him. I kind of I don't mind giving that line a look.
Yeah, I think one of the big things as we close out this season is, who is engaged in each game and each shift. And Mikheyev has been one of those guys where it's just like every time he's on the ice, he's trying to make something happen, whether it's, using his speed to, burst the puck out of the defensive zone on a breakout, or to chase someone down, get into a corner battle, get to a puck first. Like, he's definitely been a guy that you're not questioning his GAF meter. Like, it's still up there. So yeah, I'm totally okay with him getting an opportunity. I'm beyond the rotation of players with Connor Bedard this season, but fine. At least keeping him with Nazar has been, I think, a good thing the last couple of games. So if it's Mikheyev, if it's Doc, if it's Donato, like whoever, like I'm okay as long as Bedard and Nazar are the focal point of that group, and it seems like they still are.
Yeah. As for the D pairs, you got Martinez and Levshinov together. That's kind of how it's been, at least on paper, to start the games. And BJD says would prefer Levshinov with Vlasic. Don't know if Martinez can cover when Levshinov gets all rookie out there. I think they're separating, at least to start, Levshinov and Vlasic because they want both those guys kind of starting some offense on their own. Mm-hmm. And they don't want Vlasic to have to take that element of his game out and just be the defensively responsible guy should Levshinov screw something up. He said
so on the show. Yeah. That he's been there to cover for Levshinov, and I would say Martinez his game fits better to be the coverage guy than Vlasic, because Vlasic can offer more than Martinez can offensively, and that's probably the role that they want him to play. So I think having him, Levshinov, with Martinez is good. It's kind of like when Korchinski was with Murphy, where it's just like Connor Murphy, you trust his defensive abilities, and Kevin Korchinski's game is go create something. And I think that's what they're wanting Levshinov to do, is use those offensive instincts.
I also think Martinez's ability to probably communicate the game on the ice, he's got so much experience doing that it could help a guy who, is still kind of learning his English. We've heard guys say sometimes you'll say something to him and he'll say, uh-huh, and you're not sure. Right. I think Vlasic said this too. Yeah. You're not sure whether or not he understood what you were saying. So at least with Martinez, for maybe what he lacks at this stage in his career and recoverability and offensive production, he kind of makes up for in being in the right spot, knowing what the assignment is. Maybe sometimes he's not able to complete the assignment because his partner has gone rogue or something like that. But he, at least for the most part, I would trust Alec Martinez probably as much as I would trust Connor Murphy to be, hey, if he's there, I'm assuming that's probably the right place to be. Right. And someone else made the mistake. So look, though, if they get down, and we've seen it, Vlasic and Levshinov have played together a bit. It's not been something that Sorensen is shied away from at all. Mm-hmm. So I think we'll see it at some point this game. But I'm here for all the Levshinov, man. And I know there's kind of this feel, and maybe, I don't know if you have the same, that this is kind of going to be a shorter run, but then he's leading the team in ice time and he's getting power play one time, and maybe he has sort of changed their plans with how well he's played.
They're definitely maximizing his time here. I fully expect him to go back to Rockford for the end of the season for their playoffs.
Yeah, I would think so for that. Yeah,
but yeah, they're definitely like not wasting any time. Like give him a lot of opportunities, give him a lot of responsibilities, see what he can handle at this stage. And so far it's been pretty good. Like I'd say he hasn't looked out of place. I think he is earning those opportunities and he's doing well with them. And it's still a 19-year-old guy, first time playing professional hockey. And he's doing it at a decent rate in the NHL. And that's impressive for this continued upward trajectory of the level of hockey he's playing and the difficulties of it. And he's handling it really well.
I've just been so impressed with how much he looks the part.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting to have maybe like 50-50. Oh, wow, look at that. And oh, dear God, never do that again moments from Levchinov. And I feel like the mistakes have been pretty rare. I mean, at least the ones that we can see. I'm sure there's positional things that we don't notice.
That's the one thing that I feel like when I'm watching him, there's a few times where I feel like I catch him and he's kind of like looking over both his shoulders. Like he's just trying to figure out like, okay, am I in the right spot? Where's the opposition moving? How's the game flowing? And I think that's just going to come with time,
experience,
getting used to the speed of the NHL game and how fast you have to process it. And also just being, recognizing who you're playing with too. Like, because as much as these guys are young and they've played together in Rockford, it's only been half a season.
Right.
So,
and he had no training camp. So when systems get implemented and things like that, you don't really go through that at all. So
yeah. So I think that's the thing that he'll be his next thing to like catch up on is just like the positioning of everything.
Yeah. And I don't want to. I think that maybe we overlook the importance of training camp for especially young guys to really integrate into the system and those sort of things. Like he didn't get that chance at all. He got hurt training before the season, took a puck off the foot, missed all of training camp, then kind of went into Rockford learning his first pro hockey on the fly.
Right.
Then quickly into that season, there's a coaching change, right? Sorensen moves up to Chicago, so he loses his first head coach. And then he's got to learn Mark Eaton. And then a lot of the guys he's played with, like Del Mastro and Kaiser, are up and down in the NHL. So it's not been an easy journey from him, even before he joined the organization, going from league to league to league to the NHL. It's been a lot for him in a short order of time. And I think he's just handled it so well. He's handled it. I don't know. I've been really impressed watching him play at the NHL level. And I think I mentioned to you during games, the puck just moves differently from him. Like his passes are so crisp and direct and on the point.
He's got pace to his game.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with him, and it's really exciting to see, where his game's going to go from here.
It's also nice to see, Levchinov's down on the third pair, but he's going to get a decent amount of minutes. Like you said, he's on the power play as well. It's really nice to see Wyatt Kaiser continuing to grow as, a more regular guy in the NHL. Like he's gone up and down, but every time he's come back from Rockford, it seems like whatever he learned there, he's implemented it immediately at the NHL level, and it's just improving his game. And he's going to get the top pairing responsibilities alongside Vlasic, and I think I like that duo together because Kaiser, I think, has a fearlessness to his game. His skating is really impressive and continues to grow, and he does really well with moving the puck. So I think that's a good balance with him and Vlasic, and they're both kind of that two-way style player where they know how to be defensively responsible. They also can jump into the offense and try and create something. So I've been really impressed with him as he's come back from his latest stint in Rockford, and I liked how his game has been developing. I know Scott Powers recently did a write up about Kaiser and how he's progressing. It's really, really I think at the beginning of this year, I kind of said, is Wyatt Kaiser just another Ian Mitchell? I think he's beyond that.
I think
it's safe to say he is he's got parts of the game that held Ian Mitchell back. I think Kaiser he's got those parts in his game.
Well, he's certainly a better skater.
Yeah, and I think that was the biggest thing.
That was the thing that held him back. My thing with Kaiser, though, is, and I like him, and he's been great since his call up. And again, read what Scott Powers wrote about him today. But what we've seen from him is he comes back, he's good for a couple weeks, and then there's a fall off.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe the next stint, it's a little bit longer, but then the fall off comes. And then the next one is a little bit longer, and then the fall off comes. He's got to avoid the fall off. Because when Wyatt Kaiser's at the top of his game, he's an NHL defenseman. Bottom pair on a contender, probably.
Right,
but you look at the speed, you look at the puck movement. I think he's a lot tougher than he gets credit for, can absorb a hit and can continue to carry the puck.
Mm-hmm.
Not afraid to play physical on his own. So if he's this fifth or sixth on when the Hawks are talking about the playoffs, that wouldn't shock me. But I think his biggest thing is consistency and staying with it. And I still want to find out, like, when he's fully realized what he is. Like, what I find it really hard to compare Wyatt Kaiser to another NHL player, which is fine. It's the same with Levchinov, really. But I don't know. I've liked what I've seen from him, especially lately. And you talked about, like, his confidence with the puck. Sometimes he freaks me out a little bit because I'm like, dude, just get rid of it. Just get it in. But he almost always seems to come away with the puck, win the battle, or, outmaneuver the attacking forward and come away with it. So that's good. You want guys who are confident moving the puck, and Wyatt Kaiser is among them. But yeah, just getting that consistency to his game is going to be the difference between being a faster Ian Mitchell and being a full-time NHL player.
Right. Yep.
So I'm looking forward to seeing him through the end of the year here. I think we haven't talked a lot about Ethan Del Mastro either. And it's kind of like a good thing.
Right, yeah.
Like he's just held his own physical in the right place. And this is what, as we talk about fully realized guys, I think a fully realized Ethan Del Mastro is going to be pretty much what he is now, with just fewer mistakes in between. A real steady, stay-at-home guy.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe pops you 3 or 4 a year.
Yeah, I mean, he hasn't been afraid to try and create stuff offensively, which is not something I think you'd expect out of a pairing with him and Connor Murphy. But we've seen some pretty decent offensive shifts with those two on the ice, and they've been a part of it. So yeah, I mean, it's something that is not going to be his bread and butter in the NHL, but definitely is an aspect to his game that is kind of underrated and maybe underutilized for what they expect him to be. But to have that in your back pocket is going to be really good for him. And yeah, I think he's a guy that the physical tools were evident right away. Like when we first saw him a few years ago,
looked like an NHL player.
It was just like, yeah, it was like, that's a guy with an NHL frame. He's only going to get bigger and stronger. He was 19 years old at that time, and he's definitely grown into it. He's a really big kid, and he's going to use that to his advantage. His skating has improved year over year. I know the production level in Rockford this year wasn't what it was last year, where he was a AHL All-Star, but still, like what role he's expected to play, I think he's starting to fit into it, which is really good. And having Connor Murphy there as a mentor and a guide to, like, this is how you can be successful in the NHL.
It's a great model for him too.
Yeah, it's a good pairing.
If he's Connor Murphy, that's a win.
Well, yeah, as a fourth round pick,
yeah,
to get a guy that's going to play how Connor Murphy's been in the league for a very long time. Not the flashiest career, but definitely someone who's physical, who sticks up for teammates, blocks shots, hits guys all the time. Like that's a valuable defenseman to have on your team.
Today is Murph's 734th game.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
And for the injuries that he's dealt with, the way that he plays, to be at this stage,
right,
to have 700 plus games, like that's impressive.
I saw someone in the chat, they were chatting about Connor Murphy could be moved in the offseason, and I was been thinking about that a lot lately. Like, what sort of things could they do to improve the team this year? I think, and maybe you agree, Murphy's probably more valuable as a trade deadline move next year. Expiring contract, affordable deal. Maybe the Hawks can take on some of that salary take on half of it for the rest of the year to make it happen.
Because he's what, 4? Is he 4 flat or 4?
I think he's 4.
And
Yeah, I think
change?
he's 4 flat.
Okay.
Let me see.
I mean, that's not terrible. They have
4.4.
4.4. Okay. I mean, still,
But
that's
Connor Murphy for $2.2 million for a playoff run.
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad option for some contending teams, and I agree. I don't think starting the season without Connor Murphy is a good idea, because I know the veterans and the leadership group of this team kind of get, not the shining reputation that previous leadership groups have had because of the way things have kind of panned out, especially with Seth Jones. But with Murphy, he's been a consistent guy that has been a positive influence in the locker room. He's very happy in doing the mentor role. I think that goes a long way. So I think going into next season, knowing that, again, they're going to be young, they're going to have young defensemen that are still getting used to the NHL, having a guy like Connor Murphy back there is going to be important to begin the season. And you can't have 6 children as your defense.
Yeah, you can't have Alex
group.
Vlasic as your veteran defenseman.
Yeah. He can be your second most veteran guy behind Connor Murphy. I think that works. But if you're veteran and the guy who's been there the longest is 23 years old with 200 plus games or whatever, and then everyone else is basically rookies, that's gonna be tough.
And BJD says there's a huge risk that Murphy's hurt at next year's deadline. That is a risk. That's true.
It's a risk that everybody.
I just don't know what his offseason value is. I don't know. I'm not saying that he doesn't have any. I truly don't. I mean, I really don't know. I really feel like, though, a team at the deadline, there's going to be a handful of defensemen available. Maybe a team misses out on the 2 they wanted the most, and there's Connor Murphy sitting there.
Right. As
the deadline's expiring, they kind of panic and overpay for him. Or you add him as a sweetener to a trade, either offseason or deadline. I just think that he is respected around the league, and I just want the Hawks to get him somewhere where he's got a chance to compete in a playoff
He's
spot.
never played in, well,
aside from the bubble.
Aside from the bubble playoffs, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, quote unquote.
A lifelong Coyote and Blackhawk.
Yeah.
And he joined the Hawks right at the wrong time.
Well, he was in
2017-18.
The Hjalmarsson trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was, I think he's a guy that, and I'm sure if and when he moves on, we'll do the Connor Murphy eulogy show, but he has been underappreciated by this fan base, I think, except that guy that sits in front of us in the press box.
He's got a Connor Murphy jersey.
And he always yells his name during the game. That's it, though. He's the only guy in Chicago that appreciates Connor Murphy.
And I know we did the graphic. I don't know if we've updated it, but longest tenured professional Chicago athlete?
Is he? He might be number 1 currently.
I think it is. Because was the Sky or the Red Stars lost somebody who was the longest. And I think it's Murphy. We'd have to go back to the graphic and look, because who else in Chicago has been on the professional landscape has been with their organization since 2017? No one jumps off the top of my head.
I don't think so.
I think it is Connor Murphy.
Yeah, because wouldn't Zach Levine would have been on that list probably?
Yeah,
I know we did it.
We did it like 2 years ago.
No, because Jonathan Toews was on it.
Right, yeah.
Because he was so yeah, we did it years ago. But yeah, I think he's probably up there for now.
Could be.
So anyway, yeah, he needs to be respected. And someone in the chat said we got him for Nicholas Hjalmarsson, and it's kind of hard to believe that when you look back at it, the Hawks kind of won that trade. Hjalmarsson's been retired for a long time now, and you got the Timu version of Nicholas Hjalmarsson and Connor Murphy.
It wasn't.
I have the answer.
There you go.
Yeah.
I just Googled it. So correct me if I am wrong, if this is wrong, but it says Patrick Scales from the Chicago Bears.
I think
he joined in 2015.
Patrick Scales.
I think Patrick Scales is no longer a Bear.
Is he no longer a Bear?
I don't know who Patrick Scales is.
He's a long snapper.
Forgive me. Well, that's probably why.
But under that though is Connor Murphy. So if this is this Bears
keep
guy,
local long snapper over veteran Patrick Scales. So yes, he's no longer.
Oh yeah, because Daly is the new yeah.
Okay.
Mayor Daly?
No, Scott Daly.
Oh, okay.
Notre Damer.
Nice.
Got me in the sideline.
Oh, nice.
Forever grateful for that
Are
opportunity.
you gonna?
It's because I knew Patrick
Are
Manley.
you gonna get us on the sideline for a Notre Dame?
I
game?
could ask Patrick Manley if he could talk to Scott Daly and get you on a Notre Dame sideline. But yes, that was
That'd be cool.
I got to walk through the tunnel. That was a magical moment. A couple other notes from today. 2 points away from 300 is Tyler Bertuzzi. 300 career points for him. There's been a lot of milestones this year for the Hawks. Like games played and points.
Games played. 500 points for Tavo. NHL debuts. Those are always fun.
Those have a lot of those, yes, and more to come.
Definitely.
It was Thomas who had a $5 super chat. Said, "Hey guys, it's hard to believe we got Murphy for Hammer."
Well, it was Murphy
Definitely won that trade.
and Laurent Dauphin.
Larry Dolphin, who could forget?
Yeah, I mean, I think in the moment, obviously, the trading Nicholas Hjalmarsson hurt a lot.
Yes.
But you weren't going to get Nicholas Hjalmarsson playing in 2024, 2025.
Certainly
he
not.
wasn't going to last that long. And I think, Murphy does. I'd like to side by side his stats since he's been here with what Hjalmarsson did, and I would say he plays almost the exact same way, blocking shots, hits. He's not going to put up points. He'll kill penalties.
Yeah.
He does basically the exact same thing. It's just he wasn't here for the 3 cups. And I think if you put Connor Murphy in Nicholas Hjalmarsson's place, they'd have the exact same lore.
Yeah. It's hard to do that because we've only seen Murphy on not great teams.
Right, yeah.
But I don't want to pretend that Nicholas Hjalmarsson's success was not a product of being on a great team and being on a second pair and having Keith and Seabrook there to take on the really, really hard tasks. And he did too. Don't get me wrong. Nicholas Hjalmarsson is one of my favorite Hawks ever. So if I'm picking one right now, redraft Hjalmarsson every time.
Right.
But what you're saying is if you just were to merge Connor Murphy into that lineup, would there be a massive drop off? I don't know.
Well, probably. I mean, I just think if you were to say like, oh, Nicholas Hjalmarsson, you're going to be a top pair defenseman, I think he'd be able to handle it. But I think being the number 3 or number 4 guy depending on which cup team we want to talk about, I think that suit him really well because he could do a specific thing of play shutdown. Don't have to worry about producing offensively. Play on the penalty kill. Like you're going to be a guy who's going to be like a second goalie out there. Like Connor Murphy does a lot of those same things. It's just there's no glory in it because the team's not winning and there's we're all sad.
We've got a little breaking news here. Apparently on the CHSN pregame show, Pat Maroon told Darren Pang that he plans to retire after this season. So
wow.
not a huge surprise. I think a lot of people saw that.
Yeah,
coming.
that wasn't official, but coming from his mouth right there.
That's the guy that he's going to talk to too. Panger and Pat Maroon are close.
Best friends.
Yeah. So I mean, what a run for a guy who, I mean, is not your prototype hockey player.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoyed what he brought to the team this year in terms of mentorship. And I don't know, man. I think it's entertaining when I see a dude with that stature out there with the hands he has.
Yeah, he still
his hands are incredible. It's like, dude, and he's like an inline skating champion. Like he is such a throwback.
Oh yeah,
and it's sometimes cool. And this sounds like a really good offseason show. Like your favorite 1 year Blackhawks, like Marc-Andre Fleury and
Brad Richards.
Peter Bondra, and like there's been a lot of really good accomplished players that spent 1 year at the end of their careers or in the middle, just for a short amount of time. And Pat Maroon, at least for me, it was entertaining to watch because I just think he's such a marvel. He's just a massive human being. Seeing him in person he is physically imposing, and to see the way, not the fastest skater in the world, obviously, but with the hands he's got and in tight to be able to stick handle the way he does, it's impressive. It's impressive. So, congrats to him on a great career, and who knows how many more games he'll have here as we wrap up the season. But
game 70, so 12 more opportunities to play.
Over under 5.5, or more than or less than, if we're going with the Prize Picks model.
I mean, it depends on how these college guys' seasons go, but I'll say more than because that's usually what I do with Prize Picks.
Yeah, that's a fun way to do it.
Yeah.
All right, puck's about to drop. Reminder, we're going to be back for the post-game show, obviously, and that we are powered by Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. We will talk to you after the game on the CHGO Blackhawks post-game show.
We all silly like the mayor.